Welcome to the next highlight of this wonderful conference, the third session. As Peter Fischer did, I did prepare a little bit of an introduction thing on Privatize education. First of all, I want to show you my own education, which had the privilege to combine both public and private schools and public and private universities. So this is the boarding school I went to, which is right in the middle of the Black Forest. It's a Jesuit boarding school, and I must say it was about the best time of my life, and I still have so many friends from St. Blasien, and I would highly recommend this school. At the moment, I'm also teaching at a private university called Witten-Herdecke. It's a rather small thing in a pretty ugly town in Witten, but the university building and the university itself is one of the rather rare private universities where you can study economics, but also dentistry, medicine, and philosophy. This is another university that might be much better known. It's the famous Humboldt University in Berlin. From the outside, there's sitting Wilhelm von Humboldt, and I'll give you a little bit more about Wilhelm von Humboldt later on. If you enter the university, it has a beautiful staircase, and what you find there is a quote from Karl Marx, which was put there, I would guess, during GDR times, and it's still there. And it says, the philosophers have only provided different interpretations of the world, but the important thing is to change the world, okay? And this is the inside of Humboldt University, perhaps right now, where you see left-wing activists holding their seminars and occupying the university and keeping their Jewish students from actually participating in university teaching. Quite a shame if you look at the patron of this university, Wilhelm von Humboldt, who wrote beautiful, also political texts. And one of his earliest is ideas on an attempt to define the limits of the state. And this is what Humboldt wrote when he was pretty young. He did not really publish it. It was Friedrich Schiller who published it in different chapters in his journals at the time. So it was only printed in full after the death of Wilhelm von Humboldt. But what was his idea on education, at least as a very young man, before he became Minister of Education for the Prussian state? Here it is. National education seems to me to lie wholly beyond the limits within which political agencies should properly be confined. Because the grand leading principle is the essential importance of human development in its richest diversity, but national education must always promote a definite form of development. Humboldt was very interested in evolution and development and variety and Bildung, as we will see. So he continues, if there's one thing more than another which absolutely requires free activity on the part of the individual, it is precisely education. And then he looks at the incentive structure of tutors or teachers, and he claims that tutors better befit themselves when their fortunes depend on their own efforts than when their chances of promotion rest on what they are led to expect from the state. So this kind of promotion, expectation, and assimilation, which reduces diversity, is also on his mind. And we've all the time talked about education, which does not exactly translate into what in Humboldt's or German word Bildung. Bildung is much more, it's a different thing than Erziehung in that sense. One could translate it as the formation of personality, the formation of character, or self-education, self-realization, self-cultivation. It's much more than simply learning stuff, right? Bildung. But in a way, it's like Schadenfreude, Blitzkrieg, or other German words that you cannot either. There's no English word for it, and perhaps one should use Bildung also in English. Before I hand over to our speakers, I have a quiz here for legal scholars or philosophers or people who are interested in logic and in language. This is the European Union's Charter of Fundamental Rights, Article 14. It starts, and I think that's the easy one. Everyone has the right to education and to have access to vocational and continuing training. But now it comes, this right includes the possibility to receive free, compulsory education. Any experts on Hegel's legal philosophy can understand that? What is a right to the possibility to receive free, compulsory education? I don't expect an answer from me, but this is the rights that you have under European law. And here's another gentleman that you all know, Serene Highness Prince Hans Adam II, in his wonderful book, The State in the Third Millennium, which I think you can still get for free at the LGT desk. Make sure that you get it. He also discusses education in the third millennium and very much advocates vouchers, a topic to which we will come. So he says instead of using taxpayers' money to finance the education system, it is much better to subsidize parents or students so that they can themselves choose the school that, in their opinion, is best for them. So I think now I gave you a little bit of a background to what we will have now in the coming two sessions. And first we have the pleasure to welcome again for a third time in this context in our conferences, Pauline Dixon. She teaches international development and education at the University of Newcastle. I would also describe her as an activist, not in the sense of someone who tries to occupy universities or keep students from attending class, but she's actually acting in Africa, in Asia, and tries to promote the freedom and the education of others, which I think is very welcome, and so are you, Pauline.